G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is where I like to teach beginners and the advanced beginners how to paint appealing art. I will get my size of the canvas I'm using on the screen there, and I'll get some colours running up the screen. That way you can jot them down if you want to use the same as I'm using, or if you don't have the same, try and find something similar. It's just a guide, it's a tutorial teaching you what you can do. This is something different I'm doing today. It's a bit of a windmill, big lily pads over the water there, and I want to give a big shout out, thank you to Giuseppe Bandiera. Thank you very much for your picture here. And I'm going to bring you over here now and we'll get right into this tutorial. So for this piece, I've got the canvas laying in a portrait layout and I've got the horizon line quite high above halfway there. I've simply mapped in the body shape for the windmill, and see this circle here? That's pretty much how far I want it from the top. I've mapped it in like that where I want this. Now, if you want to put your own windmill in, you're more than welcome. But if you want a traceable for this, hit the links below and you'll find the traceable for this tutorial. Now I want to do the sky first and then we'll bring this on top. So for me sky, I've got some soft titanium white. It's soft body paint. It's pretty much like a craft quality, but it's perfect for priming in my canvas. And I like to mix that with some retarder because I want to get some beautiful blended colours and clouds in this sky. So I simply want to get this on my putter on a brush and we'll get the sky area mapped in. So I just want to map in where the sky is going to be. So roughly where I want my building. I'm not going to really bother putting this colour there because I want to be able to paint my detail later. So what I'm going to pretty much do is just, I'm going to have some slow shrubs there. So I'll get this there. So I've just brushed it on. Anyone can brush it on. Get the edges done where you want like that, okay? Doesn't matter what you can and can't see. Okay, now I'm going to go to the tip of my brush and then simply stroke that, ironing it down, getting it left and right. I'll go right across there, I know where I'm going. You can mask up around your picture if you feel you're going to lose it. I want the bottom of the sky grey, so I'm just going to grab some mid-tone grey. If you don't have it in a tube, just mix up a grey, it's not that hard. And we'll get the bottom half of the sky done. Coming up to about that high maybe. So I want to start at the bottom, getting it grey, come all the way across and bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Now I've lost all my picture. If you mask yours up, you won't lose it. Now I'm going to go into that white there like so. There we go. Now I have some French ultramarine and some red violet. So I'm going to pick up some of this red violet and I want to come about here from the white above the grey and just tousle this into the grey like so and bring slices and slithers. See into that grey how I've done that? And I'll get a little bit more slices and slithers into that grey. There we go. Go onto the tip of the brush and I might get a bit of this up there where the blue's going to mix in, a bit more heavier up there. There we go, that's okay. Now I need to clean and wipe that brush. I've just wiped it, picking up the French ultramarine blue on both sides of this brush. At the very top here, get this in there. Now I'm bringing it to that red violet there like so. I'm going to pick up some more of the red violet now, not too much, just to darken that blue there. That's the vibe I wanted at the top, real dark. I'm going to wipe the brush again, go to the tip of my brush, and then just stroke that left and right like a pure gentleman. Okay, get some bits down where you feel you want. So grab yourself some titanium white. I'm using a fan brush to stamp in my clouds, and I want to start at the bottom and bring them up to the top. So I just want some clouds here, bringing the bottoms hard, twisting it, creating the bottom hard, see what I'm doing there, and letting the top fan away like that. Just like so. I'm going to turn the brush around because I might want something, where was my brush? Something about here as well, just there, that'll do. See that hard line at the bottom? And I want to tap and merge the top of it away just like so. Beautiful. Wipe the brush because you're picking up so much paint. Create a bum. A bum is a tight bottom in my opinion. It's going to start dancing with the different colours here to create the different lights hitting the cloud. Now I want to blend the top of that cloud into nothing there, just like that, softening it right up so the bottom is a lot tighter than the top. There we go. And start adding some more clouds. So what I want to do now is, look at that little bit hanging out, keep the bottom of it and start creating a cloud that I can create some turmoil. Look at this, it's picking up. There you go, it's had enough. The brush is saying, put me down, I've had enough. There's no more white on it. Grab our blending brush again. I'm using the corner, finding out what's working. I'm looking under there and making turmoil within the cloud. Beautiful, twisting around. I'm going to wipe it, there's quite a lot on my brush. So as this can blend out there, beautiful. Getting it fluffy, the vibe I'm wanting. There we go. Picking up some more titanium white and we're pretty much going right across the sky. So let's get something over here now. Way over here, white, there we go. Fluffing around there, something there. Blending that. Leaving that bottom there. Blending the top up. Tell you what, I'm losing a few hairs today. My age is catching up on me. There we go. I'll pull them out in a minute. More white paint. See that dark blue there? I want to capture some of that behind this cloud here and try and put it in front of that one that I just done. There we go. Got to stop because it's full of paint again. It's contaminating real quick. So you've got to keep an eye on that. I want to get the top of that now. There we go. Tickle the tops. Blend it down. This is real luscious, fluffy clouds here. Something different. Get where I want it vibrant. See, I'm pushing that other stuff that I just put on back with this one. Find the top, create the top you want. The body of the cloud just makes itself up as you're blending it. Dancing. Oh, another hair came out. And then I'm twisting and twirling all this. When you get a hair on there, don't just grab a pointy knife if you can, pull it out. Don't worry if you scratch your paint because you can always grab your brush and tassel it back together. Don't blend it too much where you're knocking it down. Sometimes we can forget and we can knock it too far down. There we go. Hopefully that once the windmill's there, it's going to look fascinating and okay. Now see your sky colours there? Give them a bit of mist of water, keep them because we're going to use them later for the watercolours. Now I'm going to get the windmill mapped in there, so I will use my little dagger brush. Use a brush where you can shape, create and block in your detailed objects, whatever it may be in your painting. I'm using my dagger brush. And if you're a beginner, the actual shape of the windmill, it would pay for you to mask it up. I'm going to freehand it. Now, I want simply to make it achievable for you beginners out there. I want to just map it in. About there. With the dark colour, which I'm choosing to be black, okay? And then all this just simply gets mapped in. Now I've finished mapping that in. I'm just stroking out any lumpy brush strokes so they don't balk me when I put the tones and shadows and colours on there. Now before I put the actual blades for the windmill on, I want to detail this a bit first so as then I can sit the blade in front of it, because if I do that now I've got to muck around and get behind it. Just getting the side building here. So we've got the part of the roof. coming along the top, probably about that far, and it's gabling down there. And just beyond that gable, the trees are sort of poking up, so all that is pretty much dark there, and the same over here, all the way along our horizon line area. I want a filbert just to map in my trees a bit. A little bit of sky there. Then my trees are up here. So I want to get those in before I lose that area. Just somewhere there. That's it. So I just want to show you how easy a painting like this is achievable to do. When you're looking at the final product, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I can't paint that. But watching this video, showing you can. We've done that. Now we're going to bring everything forward and putting everything where it's supposed to be to put it in order so it makes it look like, wow, that is impossible to do, but you can do it. So down here, I've got burnt sienna, I've got red gold or a deep orange, I've got white, I've got a mid-tone grey, and I've got burnt umber. So I want to grab the inside colours first, which is probably this one here. So I want to get a bit of this. I've got some different whites so as I can give them their own whites instead of dirty and so many. Now I want to get this the vibe I want. I want to get that on there. And this is pretty much for this piece right in there. It's going to go right in here. Keep the lines straight so things are going to look the part. That's the top half. I'm going to turn the brush upside down so I can get this part. Now you take your time. Don't rush. There is no need to rush your artwork. I keep saying that. Don't even worry if you come down the bottom half like that. A little bit of burnt umber in that, so I'm picking up a little bit of burnt umber in the brush just to get the top of that. See here, let's see if it's wet going to work, because that's wet paint. Dampen along there with a dark vibe and slowly pull it down. If it's not working, simply dry your work. So I've dried it, and like I said, picking up some burnt umber in that colour. I haven't washed the brush, I'm just picking up some burnt umber in there, okay? Just along that top edge there, and scratch it down, let it be scratchy. Just the slightest, don't make this bit too big. It's going to act like there's depth under there. And I just want, because I'm looking at the reference, I can just see some slight of light. Here we go. That's better. A bit there and a bit there. That's it. Now there's a piece like this under here, but that's in the burnt umber. So grabbing your burnt umber, a little bit of white in it, just to turn the lights on. I'm doing these first because this other bit is in front and on top of that. So we're pretty much coming down this edge here now. And see this line? We're going to continue that through where it was over there somewhere. And then just scratchingly paint that vibe of a colour in there like that. Doesn't matter if it's got some black in it, because there's a lot of dark there. And now this bit here we want a little bit darker. So to create that, we're grabbing some of the burnt umber again, and grab some of that black that you had. And then blackulate that burnt umber so it's a lot darker. And in here, we're coming, there we go, we're coming from the top down. All the way along, not too low down, just work out how you want it. I want it high up there and then coming down a bit lower here. And look at that, this is acrylic paint, you can do this. The better quality your paints are as well, the better the job you get. And we can just add the slightest white to that paint and maybe just gingerly, look, I'm going to slowly find me, there we go, just gingerly add some vibes of lighter colours hitting into those dark bits there. That'll do. Now the main body is grey. there's a very light, there's the medium grey and the dark grey. So I've got the medium grey here, and I'm just going to block the whole thing in roughly with that. So where was our line? This is coming right across, sinking that colour back. See, this is why I put that other colour there first. And why I painted this black, it just allows the depth. Because if some of this grey is painted on like that, it won't matter if there's some dark under there. Coming across here, swooping that, cutting that back, sinking it back to out there, boom. Now if you think, I'd rather just block that in grey instead of doing the black first, everyone's different, you do it that way if you like. I just want to show how I'm doing it. There's no big lumpy bumps in it. Okay, I've finished blocking this in. I've got the brush and I've smoothed it out as best I can. Now I want to get the darker values and just add on top of this and then hit the highlights. So coming to our grey, we'll pull a bit over here, okay? Just get a little bit over here, we don't need too much. And I'm going to start adding some black till it's the darkness that I want. Now dry your work if you need to. I want to get the top of this. This is where we need it dark now. Let's see if I've got to dry it. Right across here and let it just fade down from the dark colour like that, right across the edge. If it's not working, dry your work, okay? And just scrumble it into that lighter colour there. Best as you can, whatever brush is going to work for you. Just coming up there, something like that. Oh, that went dark there, didn't it? And don't worry if you went too dark in some places, because you can always grab the lighter value and relighten it. I've added a lot more darker to that grey, a lot more black, just so as I can get that darker vibe up here, and you'll see just how better it will make the object look. There seems like a bit of a seam in there. I wouldn't mind getting in there, so probably something there, and come down. It's nice and dark right across this edge. I'm looking for those very dark spots in the reference. Getting those darks where you need them really helps your painting. Not too dark. There we go. It would have been hard to get those other colours in there if we already painted these colours in. Now I'm just grabbing the grey and getting a little bit more white in it, just so I can dance on a few subtle little highlights. So you don't want it white, you just want it tainted white with the grey in there. Look at the reference, and I've got some subtle light just tinkering down here. There we go. And maybe down on this side of that seam line there. Wham. There. And bits gradiating down here. There we go. There are some windows in there. I'm just going to black them out and then later on put a bit of blue and yellow. So there's pretty much a line across there and then coming down for your window. Block it in. There's yellow and blue. Just got a bit of yellow on my brush. I'm going to go up the dark wall a bit like that, come across the bottom quite thick, and then just go up there a bit like that. I'm just going to do that the same on all those little detail-y windows. It's just got some blue. Now just to finish this top bit off before we put the blades on, coming to our grey again, but we want it dark. So we're pretty much mixing up like we had over here. That's dried up on us. So we want to like a dark grey. Pretty much mapping now. Leave some darks there, make sure you don't ruin your paint work. And we pretty much get it right across that dark edge there. Just pull, shade it in a bit, leaving some darks there, not too much. I'll leave it dark at the bottom of that head there. Looks a bit like a mushroom head. Yeah, mushroom head. Okay, we're using pure black. We're coming out of the object, which is here. Boom. And it's in a dark hole. So it makes sense to put this in there. Coming up from the bottom. And it's got a couple of arms coming down, so I'm assuming they are connected to the actual mechanism inside that pumps the water up and down. It is beyond that a little bit, so go beyond it and then just come, where's it coming? Pretty much down to this point here. So put your reference point there and try and get a reasonable straight line somewhere there. And he's coming down to that point as well. So there, there, there. Made it that far, and now I made it that far. There's another one somewhere there, coming from behind. So there is a third one, we'll get that one in there. And there is a bar across them. So I'm going to put that there as well, because it just looks mechanical and busy. Looks good for the painting. Now I'm going to get me windmill on there. So the middle of the windmill's about here. So I'll make a reference point there. Don't make it too big. And we've got one blade coming out up here, and it's from about that far out. So it's coming up here to about there. Okay, so we can get that in a reasonably straight line there. I'll dot these in and then I'll detail them off camera. Now there's another one coming right up here, about that height. Bang, all the way down to that wheel, that center cog there, bang. But you don't have to say bang. There's another one scooting out here. It's not as long because it's going backwards. It's not flat perspective. Straight down in front of it there, bang. Well, it's a bit crooked. Oh, now these windmills are quite, they've got a thick blade. I'm going to do one and then I'll turn the camera off and do the rest so I don't bore the living buggery out of you, okay? So you got a nice thick blade there. These are thinner, nice and thin, about there. One, there's three of them. Two, three. Editing. Now that's coming down from the edge there. Keep it nice and thin if you can, like wire. And it's just basically connected up like that. So I'll do the others. See if we can get some grey highlights on some of this one coming down over that black. Now we'll get this area done so we can do our reflections in the water. I'm using the red gold just for the roof there. And I want to leave a dark area to the edge just like that. And I just want to come from the top maybe about to there, and scratch it down, making my, obviously, I'm putting a bit of white with it. That's obviously orange tiles there. There's a little ladder there, so I might grab a bit of white and grey just to put that facet there. It looks nice. There's a ladder there. These little details take 2 seconds to do. There we go. There is a window in there, but I'm not going to worry about putting that in there. Just before we put the trees in, I'm doing all these little details. The trees will set it back, so I'm pulling some of the burnt umber over here with some white in it, getting it the colour that I want. And just in front here, this bit here, there's must be a tunnel in there, so I'm going to make that tunnel. There we go. And this is coming across there. It's obviously something where a balcony or something where people can stand and watch the windmill in action. I'm not 100% sure. I don't even know how windmills work. All I know is they're a wind-powered pump pumping the water right along there. Get highlights around it like that, just giving it some dimension. Don't worry about that black window. If you bugger that up, you can always redo that. I'll get a bit of an edge coming down there in front of those darks. There's a railing on that. Where are we? So it's pretty much coming about that high. And just some simple post. Now back to that brush that I used, I've got my forest green and some cadmium yellow light. So we're going to come in front of that roof there, there we go, we're bringing it where we want, in front. Getting it to the tops of those darks, don't leave the darks at the top. And we're simply, these are simple trees and shrubs, they're going all past that building there, they're kind of here, coming down. And the other side. Now picking up the yellow-green, we're simply putting our colours in here now with the yellow-green. I'm not going to do those big trees at the back. I might change the value of them because they're distant away. Now I do want to get some yellow ochre. I want to get something here, getting hit by light. There we go. It's just so when we do the water reflections, we'll have some distinct pockets of different colours ready to take effect in the reflections there. I've just grabbed some yellow ochre because I want it coming from this side, scratching up. This just adds more real colour to it. Now we have all our colours still on our palette. I've sprayed that so as they're not going to dry up on me. I want to get the craft white on its own and map in the bottom water. So I want to just map in the whole bottom water with the craft white. Just getting it to the edge. I don't want a big white rim of paint there, so I'm trying not to do that. And I'm just kissing this now to that edge there, and we're just simply going to use all the colours on our palette now to do a simple but effective reflection in the water. So what I'm going to do is just stroke this left and right. Now all that craft white, I don't care if that dries on me or not. Now we've got our sky colours here on the palette. Let's go and grab those, which is down here. We'll get a bit of the blue and that. They're going to mix with the white, probably all the way down here. Just crisscross it on. Left and right, let it happen. Get some more, some red over here, some blue into there. Where are we? There we go. Now I want to just left and right that like this. There we go, left and right, because the water's sitting that way. See how easy that was? Now I'm going to grab some of the grey colour. Some of that's about here. Some about there. Bring that into that colour there. There we go. Just stroke it left and right. We're just getting the facets of the top half there. So I've dried the water. I want to grab a filbert brush and then start getting the bushes in first. So I'll use the simple forest green. Let's just see if that's going to be dark enough. I might add a pile of it with a bit of black just to get it like a perylene green, a very dark green. So I've got the forest green and the black mixed together. Now what I want to do is, see here, I want to replicate this. So I'm coming from the bottom, replicating there, and it's going a bit higher there, a bit higher there. I'm starting from the top. I've done this in videos before. I'm starting from the top, from about there, that colour. Now I want it stamped on there from the horizon line, okay? There we go. From the horizon line, pull it down. Now see the edge there? Try and get that torn. There we go. We're just tearing it. There we go. Pretty easy, isn't it? Now see these stop-start bits? Have a bit of finesse in your art and join them up into one line. From about this point, so I'm pretty much going from there, replicate that tree, going along, replicating that other high area there, having my brush upside down. Now I can turn it up this way, marry it to that colour there, because we've got to replicate these colours in the reflection, and it's such fun doing reflections once you've learned how to do reflections. I've taught people in previous videos how you can get reflections, and once you get a grasp of it, you will know what to do. So I'm pretty much getting that roughly there. There we go. And then we want to do the same again. Get these edges torn. Pull it down and tear the edges. See, shadows in the water can be distorted. See, I've got that tree there. Pull it down. There we go. Let's find the main colour of our windmill, which is sort of the grey, about the mid-value grey, I'd say. Hopefully. If it's not, we can always add dark and lights till it's looking good. And from about here, let's start from there. Join it to there. Join it to there. Join it all the way to there where it's going to be. And I want to pretty much, I'm going to get me edge there where I want first, so as I don't bugger it up. Probably about there. I'm coming down roughly about there-ish. That's where I want it. Block it in, but these edges here I want torn. And by all means, your reflections can be distorted. And what I mean by that is they can hang longer in the water if you need them to be. Now have a look for your darker values. I want to get a bit more darker grey there, so I'm going to start from about here now and just putting the darker values and pulling it down into the water there, just like so. Where are we? Let's try and find it. And now that dark bit, grab some black. I might have to dry it, but you want to pull that down. Not too far. You get carried away there, Annie Barberini. All right, that colour there we had we can find some of that and start pulling that down into the water as well. See, we're just pulling everything down. Pulling that down. It's distorted. I do need to fix up. I pulled that black down a little bit too far. I got carried away there. So I'll grab that grey again and I'll just go back upwards. I'll have to fix it up. But there we go. Pulling down, which is our roof, is on the top there. Okay, grabbing the orange colour and getting a little bit of that in the water too, let's say about here. Just pulling that value down, making it there, get it there. See that little white ladder? It might not look like much, but you can probably get the hint of that. Where are we? About there. Just scooting down there as well. There we go. I'm mixing that in with the grey there. I don't want it too black. And I'll try and get something there distorted for that. Now grab your yellow green and we can start getting those facets within there as well. Just hitting the canvas. Oh, that's too bright. Get some of that off the brush. Hitting the canvas and pulling down where they've got to overlap, where you feel they are. Just pulling down in a downward motion. If they're too bright, add the darker colours back. Just hitting the canvas and pulling down. We've got to get some of that yellow ochre in there, remember? Just hitting it and pulling down. And we'll get this pulled down into the water as well. Hitting it and pulling it, hitting it and pulling it. Scratch it right down, let it distort. I want to get a bit of this colour just here, just because I want to put something to break this up. Make up for that rail there. Just grabbing some of this grey colour now. I'm grabbing a brush where I can scallop my reflections just to get them a bit more wet. This is just how you get your reflections looking more wet. Try and get them random, don't have any patterns. You want to come solid from, there we go. Okay, now we're simply going to put in the water lilies, and to give them some clarity, I'm just going to use black, base them in with the black. So one out here, let's say there's a lily there. You just paint the whole damn footprint of it black, okay? But see that edge there? You want to make sure that's quite straight lines. Now this next section of the video where I was doing the water lilies, I'm going to show you where I got up to, but I wasn't happy with them. So I'm going to show you in this tutorial, if you ever make a mistake, you can fix it. So I'm showing you this deliberately. I put these on and at the end I was not happy with them, as you will see in the video here. So just keep watching where we get up to right about here. Okay, I've finished that, and I will admit I'm not really happy the way I'm getting them here. So what I'm going to do to hide a mistake like that, I'm going to show you real quick just so I can fix the front of this up. Grabbing the dark colour, so I'm just going to grab the darkest, well I've got the brown and the burnt umber mixed together, And I'll keep that bit there. So what I'll do is I'll just start making some rocks here like so. And we'll make it just look like there's some stones in the foreground here. So there, 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 there. And I'm simply going to blacken all that up. I really don't like that. And I've gone to a lot of trouble to film all this stuff. I don't want to just can it also. We all have these moments, so it's a good opportunity for me to show you what you can do in a moment like this when it happens to you. There's always a way. We've got our rocks there. Now we're simply going to highlight that. Now I'm going to simply grab my burn umber. Let's try a little bit of, what does that do in there? The yellow ochre. Yeah, that's all right. And simply come to the top of your rocks. I've dried everything. What you need to do, bring this right to the edge of that black and just create your rocks. Don't leave a black edge there, please. There we go, we'll get that like that. Some big ones too. And then all we're going to do is simply put in our rocks, overlapping, everything's overlapping. There's just a big massive pebble stone rocks here, okay? So we're doing this kind of shape. There we go. Don't want it too bright, but not too... And then get some big ones in there as well. Now let me look in there, they're not coming too bright. No, we've got dark ones and light ones in there, that's all good. And you just simply do bits like this, but it's important to put some big ones in front. How many times have we done this, eh? But why not, eh? I'm not going to sit here and try and film myself going, I'm perfect. We're never perfect, and if we make a mistake, take a break, have a smile, have a cup of tea. Now down here, I want to come a little bit, let's say darker. Not darker, I mean bigger, because they're coming closer, I suppose. But leaving the dark spots within there. Big ones and little ones. How's that looking? Yeah, that's not too bad. We've changed the vibe of the painting. So I've got my burn umber. Some of this cadmium yellow light, I'm just mixing some of that with it now to get a lighter value of my burn umber. Sort of like a caramel colour. And the good thing about the highlighted colour is you can put a lot of little rocks in between to really fill in the gaps, and it creates more density within your area there. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say we're getting some of these highlighted now, right? Now you can put lots of little ones in there like that. Then highlight that one. Highlight that one and that one. You don't have to highlight all of them. Just here and there, and some other little ones in there. But do get rid of that dark edge. Use another brush if this one's too big for you. And just simply scratch the top of these rocks in with some light hitting them. I'm going to also pick up my dagger, just so those little ones that I'm talking about, I'll show you. You can get a lot of little ones in there like this, scattered throughout everywhere. Over here where I was trying to do them. Any black bits that are too much, fill them in with this. One's getting hit by light. I have got some more yellow in the mix, and I'm just sort of trying to get some extra light here and there. Okay, I've just got some glaze and a little bit of white mixed together just so I can put the final film on top of the water. Don't dig too deep into this. This will sink down your reflections right across there like that. Wham. Come along. Wham. One stroke at a time. You push this in with the brush, you'll dig into your paint and all hell will break loose. Just use it to simply sit down all your work. I don't know, I'm just wondering, I'll just see if we can dribble some of this inside the rocks there so it might look like some water came through. I'm just imagining, I'm just trying it, so maybe it will, maybe it won't. Because do it in a left and right stroke. So it just might look like some water sitting in there. If it's going to work, it'll work. If it's not, well then it won't work. Okay, it's that simple. Put a signature on this. Yeah, that looks like water, doesn't it, eh?
Tell you what, we did all right there, Annie Barberini.
And because it's got that glaze in it, it will go very see-through and won't be so as loud. Okay, I hope you learnt something in this video. Give me a comment below. Ask any questions, they get answered in my next Friday Night Live. I want to thank my patrons who support me every month, and I want to thank the members of my YouTube channel who support me every month as well. Hit the links below. There we go, that's not too shabby. We've saved the bottom half of this painting. We've got a windmill with a beautiful sky and some water reflections there. And I know you can do it. Well, I had a bit of a challenge in that one, but we sorted it out. I did enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, be sure to tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Check out another video of mine here. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.